the man, the myth, the legend, NBA expert, incredible journalist and reporter, long time for all kinds of places, but right now he's joined the cool crew, a.k.a. All City, covering the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA down there at DLLS Mavs. Also check out that Substack, markstein.substack.com. Follow him on Twitter at The Sideline. The one and only Marc Stein joins us now. Mark, what's up, buddy?
Guys, I got to say, there are so many things before we get to the stuff you want to talk about. First of all, Matt and Dave, you guys just set a bar on reads that, like, meetings when I tell the DLLS guys about the performance you guys just put on those first reads. I realize now we are falling way short. Said there are going to be some team meetings to discuss how we can get to that level of energy, and man, that was impressive.
It's easy.
But
just be 6 years old.
Without offending you two, I didn't even know when I suggested to the GOAT Gottlieb that I hop on tonight. I had no idea that one of my all-time favorite NBA people, Will Perdue, is on the show. I had no idea.
That's right. That's right. Uncle Will's hanging with the cool kids.
Yep.
Not only did Will and I get to work together here and there at ESPN many, many years, and for me, many, many pounds ago, my very first summer league at Loyola Marymount, 1989, there was a second-year Bulls center there named Will Perdue. My memory might not be correct. That's at least the way I remember it.
No, you're right. You're exactly right, my friend. That would be the summer of 69. No, I mean 89.
1989. Young
night.
Hey, how did young Will Perdue play in those summer of '89 summer league games?
So he was like a summer league. He was a vet. He was one of the vets. And
actually,
man, I was 20 years old covering NBA summer league. You got to understand, in those days, summer league was not the enterprise like it is now.
Right.
No TV. Even beat writers did not cover summer league. It was looked down upon for beat writers to go to summer league. Especially, I was in Southern California working for the Orange County Register during college. The Laker writers were going to the finals every year. The last thing Laker writers were going to do was go to summer league. I would have crawled on my hands and knees to cover it. There was barely any media there, and it was honestly one of the greatest experiences of my life. Cemented my love of the NBA. I knew then I wanted to be a full-time NBA writer out of college, but I remember for some reason speaking to a young Will Perdue, even though I was an LA paper and he was a Chicago Bull, but I remember meeting him there, seeing him there, and
that's where the diehards went, man. That's where you were a little green back then. So then they talked about they sent you there, and look where you are now.
But remember, in those days, like Magic Johnson might show up at night to play, without warning.
Wow.
Like
Yep.
All-Stars would just show up. I mean, it was such a different time. You guys can't even imagine.
Yeah, I remember Kareem showed up one night.
Wow.
To watch a game, and plus, the way the situation was, we didn't have a lot to do. A lot of times, we would just. The whole thing was you were there to play basketball. You would watch basketball for 2 weeks, and then that was it. It was a grind. I mean, not only for the players, but for these guys. And I just remember, we'd ride in the hotel vans over to Loyola Marymount with the officials.
Oh, man. Yo.
So, but
very rudimentary uniforms.
You wore your practice gear. What are you talking about? That was just...
Yeah, it like to see what summer league has become. You can't even imagine. And that's the thing. There's no film. There's no tape. Like, you can't find it. But like I said, in those days, Dominique Wilkins might come through the door at night and start playing. I mean, it was just a different world.
That was back. You did everything in the hotel, come play the game, and then you'd go back to the hotel all sweaty and grungy, and then take a shower, and then just try to find a place to eat, and then just do it all over again the next day. But
I'm guessing diem was not in the $200 range back then.
No, I think it was like right around back then, and that year it was like $80.
Oh man,
Still pretty good.
I'll take that.
Yeah. So would I.
I'll take it right now.
All right, Stein, we got to get some of your Bulls thoughts, buddy. The Bulls gave the Celtics a really good fight just now. They lose, but they went blow for blow with the Celtics for nearly 4 quarters. The Celtics make a few more plays down the stretch. What do you make of the fact that this Bulls team that's sort of in a not quite rebuild situation with the struggles we know they have on defense can still, with this new form of offense they're playing, go pound for pound with a team like the Boston Celtics like they nearly did tonight?
Well, I really wanted to hear how you guys feel about it, because, Chicago wins tonight and a trip to Vegas is on the table. Now, I am probably the biggest NBA Cup curmudgeon and critic there is. I cannot pretend that this thing is a tournament, but I'm guessing in the Windy City, to have a chance to win tonight and win the group, go to the quarterfinals, and actually have a shot at Vegas, instinct tells me that the Matt and Dave side of this table or studio setup would have been pretty psyched for that.
Mark, no.
Stein, we'll get to know each other on a deeper level eventually.
Yeah, man. No, it's the same as when we talked last time. Matt and I are not on that page right there. We are okay compiling all the losses that happened right there. I am okay with fun bad. I'm okay with them looking entertaining, looking good, you know what I mean? Like they did tonight. It was a really fun game to watch. I'm enjoying watching Zach and the way he's playing and Vooch, because that way it raises their trade values. So I like watching this. I want to see the young guys play more. That's what we talked about kind of in the first segment. We want to see Modest out there more. But no, as far as the W's, hey, no, I'm okay with the L's. I'm quite all right with the L's. Matt is probably more gung-ho about those L's than I am, but I'm okay with it, man.
I guess I would have figured you guys would have liked to see a cup run that goes to Vegas and then a full-on tank after that. So at least you guys get a trip to Sin City in before the tank starts.
Well, okay.
If the wins and losses didn't count, then yes.
Also, let's be clear. If the Bulls had advanced and then they made it past the quarterfinal to the semifinals and going to Vegas, they'd send Will to go Gottlieb.
That's right.
I don't think we'd be on that flight. I think we would be stuck back here in Chicago. I don't think there was a trip to Vegas for us on the table.
That's very true.
No, that's got to be mandatory full staff participation. That's got all three.
Yes, it does.
I agree.
We're producing it does, and he wants in.
Also, if you're the world's biggest NBA Cup curmudgeon, Mark, then I'm the second biggest, because I think this entire thing is pointless and a waste of time. Like, I get it. There's an incentive for the players. There's cash prize. They're trying to make interesting the dog days of an NBA regular season. I get, and it's mostly about money, but no. You're talking about shot at it like a cup. Come on, man. This gentleman over here has 3 of the Bulls' 6 franchise NBA champ Larry O'Brien trophies.
Those things.
And it would be so Bulls to raise a banner for the NBA Cup in-season tournament and try to act towards their fans like that meant a damn when it doesn't.
Well, let me say this. Whoever wins the NBA Cup, whether it would have been Chicago in a fantasy scenario or whoever it is, if you don't hang a banner, you're slapping the league in the face. So whoever wins is going to hang something. We saw it do you think the Lakers really wanted to hang a banner? They did not. But it would have been a huge embarrassment for the league if the Lakers, one of the prestige teams on the NBA map, did not show the cup some level of respect. So the Lakers came up with, their little mini banner. But yeah, look, I cannot get excited about this thing, but I have to say, Trae Young's on here tweeting tonight, "Thank you, Celtics, for coming back and winning this game so we can," so if the players are into it, that's a good sign. This thing is not a tournament until the semis, until we get to Vegas. And these games, it drives me crazy that that group play is 60 regular season games that count twice. I hate this format, but I'm not the target audience. And if the players care, if guys like Trae Young are sitting here really legitimately excited that Boston's win over the Bulls tonight means that Atlanta wins its group, that's actually progress, and that's something.
That's true. Go ahead, Will.
So, Mark, I'm curious. When the Bulls went back to the announcement that what they were doing wasn't working and they had to make changes, have they made enough changes to be able to then make themselves better in the future the way things are now, or they've still got a lot of work left to do?
Well, it's interesting. I wouldn't even use the word announcement because I don't really think they've come out and announced this plan. But, I think you guys wanted me on tonight because of the story that my colleague Jake Fisher posted on my website earlier today. And look, this is the messaging that the Bulls are giving to other teams. Call us or let's talk. We're going to talk about anybody because all jokes aside, we talked about this the last time I visited you guys. Like, the Bulls situation absolutely fascinates me because they cannot do better. They have to finish with the 6th worst record in the league. They have to. They have no choice. You cannot risk falling out of the top 10 and giving that pick to San Antonio in a draft that is loaded. Scouts like it even better. Just since the last time I joined you guys, whenever that was, I don't even know if it was a month ago that I visited with you guys. In that short time since, scouts are more excited about this draft. It's not just Cooper Flagg. I am not a draft expert. I'm not watching the college game, but I'm just listening to the guys I talk to who are out there scouting. And there are several players that excite teams. The Bulls cannot afford to surrender this lottery pick. They know it, and they're too competent of a team right now as is. So they're going to have to find and the thing is, Zach LaVine is playing sensational basketball. He looks great. Chicago's struggles to trade him have nothing to do with his on-court production. It's all about the fact Zach's got 2 years left on his deal after this one at very high dollars. And just in this new luxury tax world with a first apron and a second apron, it's just going to be really hard for the Bulls to move him. But Vooch, who is playing all-star basketball at only $20 million this season, Lonzo Ball on an expiring contract, I think the phones will start to ring in earnest as we move into the real trade season, which everybody kind of treats as December 15th, when 100 or so players on other teams become eligible to be moved. The Bulls are going to be a team that we talk about all between now and the February 6th trade deadline. There will be no discussions about trades without the Bulls being mentioned. There just won't.
There was some interesting details in that report from Jake Fisher as far as what the Bulls might be looking for in trades of some of these veteran players if they are willing to listen to offers. And then also that some teams out there might also be interested in some younger names like Dalen Terry, like Julian Phillips, to be packaged in those trades were the Bulls to ship out some of their more expensive vets. What do you make of that? And then what do you make of the fact that the Bulls would, according to Jake's reporting, be cool with a couple of second-round picks for Vooch at the All-Star season that he's having? Because I'm sure that there are plenty of Bulls fans who are sitting at home thinking, if Vooch keeps playing like this, any chance the Bulls could maybe even get like a first round or a late first round or a late first swap? What do you make of that part of Jake's reporting?
I want to clarify because what Jake quoted a GM from another team who said his projection is that 2 second-round picks would be a likely starting point in trade talks for Vucevic. I'm with you. I think he's playing so well. I'm sure the Bulls will try to get more than that. But you also have to be realistic here. I am still legitimately mind-boggled that they traded Caruso, who was in such great demand, And yes, raise your arms because there's nothing we can say. You couldn't get 2 seconds from the team that has more firsts over the next seven years than any franchise in league history. The Bulls couldn't get 2 seconds for Caruso. They couldn't get 1 second for Caruso. I still can't believe that deal had no draft compensation in it. Yeah. So look, it's too early to say, what Vooch can or can't command, but the man is playing at an all-star level, and as an offensive player, unquestionably an all-star. And I think you guys remember I did a long interview with Vooch when I saw him in August in Slovenia, and I thought he was very candid in that interview, saying, sorry, I'm getting excited here. He acknowledged he didn't shoot the ball last season anywhere near his standard. He worked on it all summer. You see the results. He's shooting. He went into tonight shooting nearly 45% from three.
Okay.
He is 20-10, put it on the board. He spaces the floor, and $20 million in the modern NBA is a very reasonable salary. So I'm sure the Bulls will try to get as much as they can when the time is right. But exactly what that will be, it's hard to forecast. It's hard to tell you that or pinpoint that right now.
Mark, let me go back to you talking about the Caruso trade, because I want to ask you about the player that we have now, was Josh Giddey. After now kind of seeing him at his highest high on this team, and we kind of seen him at his lowest low on this team, what is your assessment of Josh Giddey right now? Because fans haven't found that middle ground. They either love him or they really, really don't like him. So where are you at as far as Josh Giddey and how he is this season with the Bulls?
Well, the beauty of those situations, he's going to be a restricted free agent. So that assessment doesn't have to be figured out on Thanksgiving. And look, what you're describing, it's no different on DLLS after losses. It's no different probably on any show for any team on the NBA map. In 2024-25, we all do it. We're all guilty of it. It's an NFL-style analysis that's applied to. We want to make declarations after every single game, and it doesn't work like that in the NBA. But it just becomes impossible to resist. He's the greatest. This is awful. Get rid of him. Sign him for a max. I mean, it's gonna be all over the place because that's just the nature of commentary today. But by not doing an extension before the deadline, and the deadline for rookies from that class was opening night eve, they now have a whole season to evaluate this, and he'll be a restricted free agent, so they can match any offer that Giddey gets. So they're not just going to lose him outright. But yeah, certainly, it's concerning to, everyone around the league has taken note of the fact that, his minutes have been very up and down, and Billy Donovan has not been afraid to not play him. So certainly this is something that teams are looking at and monitoring, but I think we do have to give it the season because Giddey's future is not going to be decided until after the season, realistically.
That's true.
Gulp. Stein, we appreciate the time, man. We can let you go. Lead off home run. We got a GOAT on deck.
I got one more question for you.
Okay.
One more question for you. And Will, you don't know this, but can you please tell us how you celebrated the fact that you won Goon of the Night the last time you were here?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I heard about it. I was a little bit, I thought Vooch should have won. I don't know the whole history. I don't understand why it's called Goon. You guys are going to have to explain that to me.
Oh, it's in the name.
But I will say, I thought the whole thing with the belt and everything, that was another thing. Like I told the DLS squad, like, we got to come up with something. We got to do this. This is a great idea. So
Well, once a Goon of the Night winner, always a Goon of the Night winner.
I do have one more question.
Go for it, Will.
Okay.
So what the Bulls are doing and their record, can Vooch still make the All-Star team?
Ooh, good question.
In the East, anything is possible.
I mean, is there a big in the East playing better than Vooch right now?
Look, I haven't studied it yet because it's way too soon for all-star reserves. But yeah, I mean, how many teams have winning records right now? I mean, 6, maybe 5. I guess Milwaukee's at 500 now. I mean, so yeah, he's got to be in the conversation. I mean, he has been fantastic. And again, I loved when I talked to him. He's, he made no secret of the fact I didn't shoot the ball well last year. That's on me. I worked on it a lot this summer, and he's delivered night after night after night. He knows what he's good at, and is incredibly consistent. He's not going to win the shot blocking title, but as a face-up offensive center, and he's going to give you rebounds. That is a part of defense. It's not like blocking shots, but rebounding is a part of defense, an important part. He's 20 and 10. Put it on the board.
Put it on the board. Yes. All right, Stein, we appreciate you. Bulls Nation, follow Mark for all of his great NBA reporting. Subscribe to his Substack. Follow him on Twitter, The Stein Line. Also, check out our guys down there, DLLS Mavs, doing a great job covering Luka and that fun squad. Yeah. Until next time, Mark, take it easy.
Remember, if I come to town, Italian beef, you guys promised.
On the way. Come
Say
through.
The word.
Come through.
My man.
See you, Mark.
Take care, Mark.
We all silly like the mayor.